and he's opened the door. He's doing a mini. He opened the door, and he had to duck to get out. And I was like, oh my God, I'd never met him before. Like he's massive.
Yeah. When he signed you, I thought he must have looked at your stats and gone, Matt will get the most crosses in. Did he do something like that with you?
Well, I'm glad you teed that up for me. I'd score. I'd put in the most crosses in Europe and most successful crosses in Europe the season I was at Wolves and the first season at West Ham. Wow. So that is where
perfect Big Sam
sign. And when I signed, the first time I met Sam actually was when I come to the training ground after I'd signed, and he was in the port cabin with a meeting, and like Tim's coming in, goes, called Sam and said, oh, Matsy's just signed. And I went to the port cabin bit, and he's opened the door. He's doing a mini. He opened the door, and he had to duck to get out. And I was like, oh my God, I'd never met him before. Like he's massive. Yeah. And then he was like, is it done? And I was like, yeah, it's done. Like, good. You shake your hand. He went straight back in. And that was it.
Good.
It was just amazing.
How did you find? Known you a long time, but never really asked you. How did you find it playing for Sam though? Because there's no doubt about it, we probably did go a little bit longer, if you like, than most teams sometimes. But you obviously tricky, wanted to get the ball down, beat players and cross it. Did you find it hard at all? Or did you think you was getting enough of the ball or seeing enough of the ball?
It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah. Because games are very, very tricky, because sometimes, as you know, it stays more on the right, it stays more on the left. It's hard. As a wide player, you only get the ball when other people give you it. So it's quite hard. Although you say, you go and get the ball, it's very hard, because if you go and get the ball, then you're not out in your position when the team needs you to be out there. So it is tricky, but you have to adapt. And he was I learned a lot, in the sense that where I had to be on the pitch with him, you're saying about goal kicks and set plays. I had to adapt to when the ball went up, a goal kick to Andy or Coley.
He was going in behind.
I had to pin the fullback or the centre half behind. And that wasn't my game, but I had to adapt to do that, because I was going to get hammered if I wasn't there. But also, like, that was where the ball was going to drop. And Kev used to be brilliant at it, because Andy used to flick it on, Kev would just hold it up, and then you can come on to the front. And so there's certain areas that you have to progress, and you have to observe, and you have to get better at. But as far as he wanted the ball to go wide and put crosses in, so it was a bit of give and take, I suppose.
Like, obviously, a lot of times passing a bit old now. I think he would generally do. He would do anything it takes to win a game of football.
Yeah.
He wasn't bothered about if we had 7, like you see Brighton now, 700-800 passes. He wasn't bothered on that. And we weren't as players. He was mad he was unreal with his stats. He knew everything stat-wise. So he would just do anything it took to win a game, to get 3 points.
That's all he cared about.
And that's all he cared about. He didn't care. Not spoke to him since, but he wouldn't have been caring that the fans weren't liking it. He was concentrating on getting 3 points, and whatever it took to get 3 points, he would do it. Yeah. Whether we played against a team that he thought we might have to pass a little bit more, because he wasn't anti it.
No,
he just thought our best chance of winning a game against so and so, whoever we're playing, is doing this type of football.
Yeah.
And you can't knock him for that.
No. Also, with regard to his plan, you could see what it was. He signed you, the best crosser at the time, and big Andy Carroll.
He said, honestly, he said
hello.
To me, he said,
there's some days in training I'd look over to Jarvo and I'd feel sorry for him, I think. Every time Jarvo got to Andy with your crosses. Hang it. Jarvo used to like to whip it. Yeah. Like, the David Beckham, like, bit of bend on the cross, like across the 6-yard line. Andy just used to like to hit drill to the back stick so he could come on.
Just hang it up.
Every time, Jarvo, just cross the ball. Don't chop back, cross the ball. This is Andy. This ain't even Sam.
I still speak to him now, and every time I go, hang it up.
Because you would cross the ball with, like, you'd get your toes under it, wouldn't you? It would be lofted in a lot of the time.
To be fair, it worked well, because I think the team knew, same at Wolves, same as West Ham. If I was getting the ball and I would shift it onto my right foot, the boys knew that I was going to be whipping the ball in, but if it missed everyone, it was, hopefully going in at the far stick. If I was then doing a foot race and shifting it onto my left and knocking it down the line, it was either going to be cut back to the penalty spot or dinked to the far.
Yeah.
That was, majority. It could have been very, but that is the majority of what would happen. So if I was running down the line, all I can hear is Andy going, hang it up, hang it. And you just hang it up to the far post, and he would just bulldoze through everyone.
But it was if you got a ball hung up like that for Andy Carroll, there's not like I could head the ball, but if he's got a run on you like that, like his little dink cross, and he's coming, and Big Andy's coming by me, there's not a person in the world can stop him.
Yeah, he was like just a battering ram.
Yeah. What was it like in defending against him in training? You must have been sick of it. Like, because
I like that though. Love the fight, love the battle.
As aggressive in training.
Oh,
it wasn't a fine trainer, was he, Big Andy? Yeah, it's just one of them. It was a battle. You can't. He's just an handful. You couldn't. Obviously, don't want to injure anyone. So it was never match pace. Or it was match pace, but not aggressively, like going into your challenges and all that. But we had a great time. Always had a little battle, but there was that squad. There might be the odd little row here and there, and someone having words. But you come back in the dressing room, it was all good as gold.